Hello, students. Today, in this particular lecture, I'll be concluding the poem My Last Duchess. So, today I'll cover line number 43 to the last line, that is line number 56 of the poem. Oh, sir, she smiled, no doubt, whenever I passed her. But who passed without much the same smile? This grew. I gave commands. Then all smiles stopped together. There she stands, as if alive. Will it please you rise? We'll meet the company below then. I repeat, the Count your master's known munificence is ample warrant that no just pretence of mine for dowry will be disallowed. Though his fair daughter's self, as I avowed at starting, is my object. Nay, we will go together down, sir. Notice Neptune, though taming a seahorse, thought a rarity which Claus of Innsbruck cast in bronze for me. Now, before explaining these lines, I would like you all to mark the meaning of a few words. The word munificence means generosity. The word pretense means claim or aspiration. Neptune was the sea god. Claus of Innsbruck is the name of another artist who made this portrait of Neptune. Okay. Now, beginning with the explanation of these lines, the Duke tells the messenger that his last duchess was childish and frivolous. She did not know how to conduct herself with dignity and decorum as the wife of a man of rank and birth like the Duke. She had the habit of smiling. She smiled at everybody. There is no doubt that she smiled at him too as he passed by. But then she smiled at everybody who passed by her. There was nothing particular in the way in which she smiled for her husband. Now, this was wrong. She did not have discrimination. She did not distinguish between her husband and others and treat them differently. The husband, more specifically a person like the Duke, belonging to an ancient and noble family, must not have been treated like every Tom, Dick, and Harry. Her habit of smiling and thanking for the slightest courtesy shown to her increased so much that he could no longer tolerate it. Therefore, he gave orders that her smiling or her smile should stop, and so her smile stopped altogether. How did the smile stop? What were the orders given? The poet has left the meaning obscure. Perhaps the Duchess was murdered. The Duke says that just look at the picture. There she stands as if she is alive. Then he says to the messenger, will it please you to rise? So he asks the messenger to stand up. And he says that we will meet the people waiting below for us. And he knows the reputation of the messenger's master for generosity and liberality. The natural generosity of the master is a sufficient guarantee that the Duke's legitimate expectation for a dowry would be fully satisfied. A suitable dowry will not be denied to him. Although his primary interest is not the dowry, this is what he states, but his primary interest is the fair daughter, the beautiful daughter of the Count. Then he clarifies that he had told the messenger about this in the beginning and he would like to repeat it again to avoid any kind of misunderstanding. Now the Duke and the messenger prepare to go down where the company is waiting. The messenger stands back so that the Duke may descend first, but the Duke politely says that they would go down together. However, before they descend the stairs, the Duke calls the attention of the messenger to a bronze statue of Neptune, the sea god. The statue shows the god riding and controlling a seahorse. The Duke is proud of the statue and says that it is a rare statue made by Claus of Innsbruck. The Duke thus tries to impress the envoy with his artistic tastes. Now, here, one thing is worth noticing, that the Duke has purposely pointed towards this particular portrait of Neptune made by Claus of Innsbruck. What is the purpose? The purpose is that he has highlighted that Neptune is taming a seahorse. Taming a seahorse means he's controlling the seahorse. Now, here he is trying to give a hidden message to the envoy, and the message is that he, as a duke, will have complete control over his wife, his future wife. Okay, so he has a particular nature of controlling the people in his life and everybody and everything around him. This is one aspect of his characteristic which is highlighted in a very subtle manner in these concluding lines of the poem. With this, we finish with the explanation of the poem. In the next video, I'll give you the summary of the poem. That's all for today. Thank you.